Okay, so are you ready to dive into some business analytics?
Always ready.
I know it can sound a little dry.
Yeah?
Oh no, not spreadsheets again. But stick with me here because it's really about using data to make smarter decisions. And who doesn't want to do that, right?
That's the dream.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to help us unpack all of this, we've got a really interesting book to pick apart.
Okay.
Some articles about where things are headed, and even a sneak peek at what a university business course on data analysis looks like these days.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, so one of the things that really jumped out at me in the book
Yeah.
was this analogy they use, right?
Okay.
They compare building a successful business analytics system to that old saying, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link.
Oh, I like that.
Because it really highlights how it's not just about having the best technology in place.
Right. It's the people.
Exactly.
Like, it's the process.
It's the whole shebang.
Yeah, it's got to be.
It's like if you're trying to bake a cake.
Yeah. Okay.
You might have the best oven and the best ingredients, but if you don't follow the recipe or your mixer breaks down,
Yeah.
it's not going to work.
You're not going to have a good cake.
No, you're going to have a mess.
Yeah.
And that's where this idea of the business analytics model comes in,
Okay.
which the book lays out in these 5 distinct but interconnected layers.
Okay.
So you've got strategy,
Mm-hmm.
operational needs, analysis and reporting, data warehousing, and data sources.
Okay. Those are very distinct, it seems like. Those could almost be their own separate topics.
Right. Well, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
They are interconnected, so you kind of have to think about them
Yeah.
all together.
As a whole.
So let's break it down a little bit.
Okay.
So strategy.
Yeah.
If we think about like a journey that's kind of like setting your destination on your GPS, right? You need to know where you're going before you can figure out how to get there.
Right.
And then you've got operational needs, which is figuring out, well, okay, do I need a sports car for this journey or do I need like a big old SUV?
Interesting.
Right. It's what are the specific actions and resources that you're going to need
To meet those goals.
or reach that destination
Yeah.
to meet those goals. Exactly.
Okay.
And then this is where the analysis and reporting comes in.
Okay.
That's like having your GPS navigation system as you go,
I see.
telling you which route to take, highlighting traffic jams, suggesting alternate paths.
So it's giving you that information to make those informed decisions.
Exactly.
easier.
It's about taking that data
Mm-hmm.
and turning it into those insights
Right.
that are going to allow you to make those decisions.
Okay.
Then, of course, we've got to talk about data warehousing
Okay.
because you need a place to store all this data.
Right.
So this is kind of like the fuel
Mm-hmm.
that's powering your journey.
Okay.
You need that reliable source to keep you moving forward.
Yeah.
And all of this stems from your data sources,
Right.
which I guess the analogy here is like if you're using your GPS, you've got to have accurate maps in the first place.
Yeah.
If you're working from old data or inaccurate data,
Garbage in, garbage out.
exactly,
Yeah.
you're going to end up in the wrong place.
100%.
And the book makes this interesting point,
Okay.
which is even if a company isn't consciously using this 5-layer model,
Yeah.
just understanding these layers
Okay.
can be so valuable
Why is that?
because it's like suddenly you can see the matrix.
What?
You can see how everything connects.
I like that.
You can see where the pressure points might be,
Okay.
where are the potential bottlenecks,
Oh, interesting.
where are the communication breakdowns,
Oh, okay.
where might that crucial data be hiding.
That's really cool because just having those 5 things in mind can help you kind of troubleshoot as you go.
Exactly.
Okay.
It gives you that framework to ask the right questions
Yeah.
and spot those opportunities for improvement.
I like it.
So I'm curious, thinking about your own experiences, is there a particular layer of this model that you find yourself drawn to or that you find is especially important?
I think the strategy piece gets overlooked sometimes
Where-
because it's easy to get excited about like
Yeah.
the data and the analysis and all that.
It's the fun stuff.
But you got to know what you're actually trying to achieve.
It's like that saying, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there,
Exactly.
which is true for road trips, not so much for business.
No, not at all.
So the book actually uses this really cool case study
Okay.
to illustrate how all of this works in the real world.
Okay.
And it's a radio station.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
What kind of radio station is it?
Well, they don't specify the genre,
Okay.
which I thought was kind of clever.
Yeah.
Because it lets you apply the lessons to really any business.
Yeah.
Right. But the gist is they're trying to increase their market share and boost their return on equity.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Right. Who isn't?
Right.
But what's interesting is
Yeah.
they have this big realization
Okay.
that they're not even tracking the right data.
Oh, no.
I know.
What are they tracking?
So they were so focused on like the traditional metrics, market share and ad revenue.
Yeah, the obvious stuff.
Yeah, they missed this crucial insight about listener retention.
So they don't know how long people are actually listening to their station?
Nope.
Oh, wow.
They were basically flying blind,
That's a little scary.
and it was hurting them.
Yeah, I bet.
So their big aha moment was realizing they needed a new KPI,
Which was that?
average listening time.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's not just about getting people to tune in. It's about keeping them engaged.
Keep them hooked.
Exactly.
I like it.
But of course, then the question is, how do you actually do that?
Right. How do you measure something like that?
Yeah, and how do you improve it?
Yeah.
So this is where those layers of the model really come in.
Okay, tell me more.
Okay, so management sets the strategy right, which is boost that average listening time.
Okay.
And then the analysts are tasked with, okay, how do we collect this data?
Right, because they don't have it.
Exactly. They had to completely overhaul their IT infrastructure.
Wow. So they basically had to rebuild their whole system
Pretty much.
just to track how long someone's listening.
It really highlights that point the book makes about how this is not always a linear process.
Right.
It's iterative.
Yeah, lots of twists and turns.
Exactly.
But it sounds like it paid off for them.
It did. Okay, good. Their market share and their ROE both went up
Wow.
because they were willing to let the data guide their decisions.
Even if it meant like rethinking everything.
Totally.
That's a good lesson.
It is.
So we've got our radio station. They're happy. They figured things out.
They're killing it.
But I feel like we're about to crank things up a notch.
Oh, we are.
Because those articles you mentioned,
Yeah.
AI is coming.
AI is here.
And that's a whole other ballgame.
All right. Well, now you've got me really curious.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what AI brings to the table that has everyone so excited.
Okay.
So we've covered a lot of ground with this deep dive.
We have.
We talked about those 5 layers of the business analytics model.
Right.
We saw how our fictional radio station used data to kind of turn things around.
Yeah, they really use that to improve.
But now it feels like we're stepping into the future a little bit.
Yeah.
Because those articles you mentioned,
Right.
AI is where it's at.
AI is changing everything.
It really does feel like sometimes I need like a crash course in science fiction.
Yeah.
Just to kind of wrap my head around it all.
It's true. It's moving so fast, but the core ideas, I think, are pretty accessible once you kind of break them down.
Okay, well then, let's do some breaking down.
Okay.
What exactly are we talking about when we say AI?
So what's fascinating here is how AI is pushing the boundaries of what we can even do with data.
Okay.
We're moving beyond just analyzing what is
Okay.
to actually generating what could be.
Okay, so now break that down for me.
Okay.
What do you mean generating?
So think of it this way. Traditional business analytics is like looking in a rearview mirror. It tells you what happened so you can make slightly better decisions in the present.
Okay.
AI is like getting a glimpse into the future.
All right, well, how do you do that?
It's not about knowing the future for sure.
Okay.
It's about using data to make really good guesses
Okay.
about what's going to happen.
Okay, so you're saying educated guesses,
Yeah.
not like pulling out a crystal ball.
No, but we're getting there.
Okay.
So let's go back to our radio station.
Okay.
They're tracking their listener data.
Right.
They're using that to figure out how to improve,
Right.
but they're still using historical data.
They're still looking in the rearview mirror,
Exactly.
trying to avoid those potholes.
So now let's say they start using AI.
Okay.
We're not just looking at past listening habits. We're using AI to actually predict what listeners are going to want to hear before they even know it.
Okay, now that sounds like you're pulling out the crystal ball a little bit.
Maybe just a little.
How is that even possible?
So it's about looking for patterns
Okay.
and finding connections in the data.
That maybe humans wouldn't naturally see.
Exactly. It would take us way too long to analyze all this data.
Okay.
AI can do it like that.
This is about speed, too.
Yeah, and just the sheer volume of data.
Okay.
So we could look at weather patterns,
Okay.
social media trends,
Nice.
upcoming events.
Okay.
All of that can give us clues about what people are going to want to listen to.
So it's almost like you're tapping into the collective mood
In a way, yeah.
and then using that to say, okay, if this is the mood, this is probably what they're going to want to hear.
Exactly.
So you're not reacting to what's already happened.
Right.
You're anticipating what's going to happen.
Yeah, and that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, now you're going to have to elaborate on that.
So the articles we pulled for this episode, they highlight something called generative AI.
Okay, generative AI. I've heard that term thrown around. What is that all about?
So it's not just about analyzing data that's already there.
Okay.
It's about using AI to actually create new things.
Okay, like what?
So we could create new content,
Okay.
make predictions,
Okay.
or even create entirely new data sets.
Okay, so it's not just reading the data.
Right.
It's actually like making new data
Exactly.
based on what it's learned.
Yeah, it's kind of like having a creative partner
Interesting.
who also happens to be a supercomputer.
Okay, I like that analogy.
And for managers, this opens up so many possibilities.
Okay.
Imagine being able to simulate different business scenarios with incredible accuracy.
Okay.
So you can see how those changes might play out before you even implement them.
It's like a time machine for business.
Kind of, yeah, you get to test things out.
Without the risk.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
And then let's not forget about personalization.
Okay, yeah. Because nobody wants to feel like just another number.
Right. So we can use AI to create those hyper-personalized experiences.
By analyzing all that customer data?
Exactly.
Okay. This is exciting stuff and a little bit overwhelming.
It's a lot, but it's also about making things easier.
Okay. How so?
Think about all those tedious tasks you have to do.
Please tell me AI can handle my email.
Maybe someday, but for now it can definitely help with things like generating reports,
Oh, thank goodness.
summarizing data, and even flagging potential issues before they become big problems.
So it's like having a really, really smart assistant
Exactly.
who can take care of all the boring stuff.
So you can focus on strategy and the big picture.
So it's not about replacing humans.
Right.
It's about giving us the tools to do our jobs even better.
Exactly. It's about working smarter, not harder.
I like the sound of that so much better.
Yeah.
So as we kind of wrap up our deep dive into the world of business analytics, what's the key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with today?
You know, whether you're a seasoned executive or just starting your career, understanding business analytics is so important.
It's not optional anymore.
It's not.
Like, you have to know this stuff.
It's the price of entry.
And it's only going to become more important as we move forward.
Right. So embrace the possibilities that AI offers.
Don't be afraid of it.
Don't be afraid of it.
Learn about it.
Ask questions, and most importantly, use it ethically and responsibly.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So there you have it.
The world of business analytics, it's exciting.
Is.
It's always evolving,
Always.
but it's definitely worth exploring.
Absolutely.
So until next time, keep asking those questions, keep exploring those data sets, and most importantly, keep that entrepreneurial spirit burning bright.